Your brand may be staying on top of current trends, but are you agile enough to stay relevant, resilient, and successful as customers, competition, and the world continues to change at a breakneck pace? I'm thrilled to share the newly revised version of my first book, The Agile Brand. I'm calling it The Agile Brand Revisited. It's been updated to reflect our continually changing world, and it provides 7 principles that form the backbone of an agile brand, offering detailed insights and actionable steps for incorporating them into your business strategy. This is the book that started it all, and I'm excited to share it with you. It's now available in print and digital formats and available everywhere. Learn more by going to the Agile Brand Guide website at www.agilebrandguide.com. Welcome to Season 5 of The Agile Brand with Greg Kihlstrom, where we talk with enterprise and technology platform leaders about the people, processes, and platforms that make marketing and customer experience successful, scalable, and sustainable. This is what creates an agile brand. I'm your host, Greg Kihlstrom, advisor and consultant for Fortune 1000 marketing and CX leaders and teams as principal and chief strategist at GK5A, and best-selling author, keynote speaker, entrepreneur, and Agile certified coach. The Agile Brand podcast is brought to you by TEKsystems, an industry leader in full-stack technology services, talent services, and real-world application. For more information, go to teksystems.com. To sign up for the Agile Brand newsletter and get the latest insights and articles on marketing technology and CX, or to purchase a copy of my latest book, House of the Customer, go to gregkihlstrom.com. You can also find all my books on Amazon and other retailers. And now on to the show. Aircall, a major competitor in the contact center space, recently launched its AI-enabled transcription capabilities for sales and support teams to help them obtain business insights that can create more efficiencies and deliver better customer experiences. Today, we're going to talk about AI in the contact center and how to balance voice AI, machine learning, and other types of automation with human contact center agents to deliver the optimal customer experience. To help me discuss this topic, I'd like to welcome Mary Nelson, Chief Customer Officer at Aircall. Mary, welcome to the show.
Hi, Greg. Great to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, looking forward to this. So why don't we get started by you giving a little background on yourself as well as your role at Aircall?
Yeah, sure. My experience has really been focused on helping customers achieve their desired outcomes through my career. It's been a major focus. I've helped global and domestic technology companies scale and all while putting customers at the heart of strategy, which has seen really tremendous business results. So there's a definite connection that I have seen through the whole course of my career. I'm currently the Chief Customer Officer at Aircall. We are a global cloud-based phone and communication platform designed for sales and support teams, as you just outlined. And I joined Aircall earlier this year because I'm so excited about our mission, and that is to empower small and medium-sized businesses, or SMBs, and their customer-facing teams to turn every conversation into business impact, essentially helping them really connect with the needs of their customers. This is a privilege to me because SMBs really are the backbone of our economy. And so to be able to support their growth and success is a really rewarding thing. And in working with them, our goal is to help increase their productivity and to help them create a very personalized relationship with their customers. As CCO, of course, I want all of our customers to see us as their preferred partner, and because we're offering a best-in-class experience for them, hopefully maximizing their satisfaction and increasing and maintaining retention. So our daily mission is to essentially make sure that our customers are getting as much value from their partnership with us as possible. Very quickly, previously, I was the Chief Customer Officer at a company called Alchemy Technology, which is a cloud-based digital banking solutions provider. And in my timeline there, we collectively achieved over $200 million in annual recurring revenue. And a career highlight for me was helping the company lead its NASDAQ debut as an IPO in April 2021. So just to summarize all that, I've pretty much spent my career focusing directly on customer experience in a variety of ways.
Yeah, that's great. Well, so got the right person to talk about this the subject matter today. So, as I mentioned at the beginning, Aircall recently rolled out some AI features to help their customers deliver a better CX to their customers' customers. And I want to talk about some of the possibilities for AI to help there. So To start, what markets or types of customers do you serve? You mentioned it briefly in the intro, but want to dive a little deeper in that. And what are some of the challenges that potential customers have that might drive them to consider further automation?
Yeah. So Aircall operates on a global basis. We have customers around the world, sales and support teams again. And we find that our products are particularly well suited for small and medium sized businesses. That doesn't mean that we can't support larger customers as well, but we have a real targeted focus in the SMB space. And we have a cloud-based solution that is designed to be very intuitive and perhaps more importantly, really well integrated with CRMs and our customers' business tools. So by offering that level of integration and easy use, we're hoping to drive productivity growth and even employee satisfaction as well. Now, in terms of reasons that any of our customers might consider automation, the first thing I'd point to is just the current state of the economy. We know that so many businesses have had to shift from almost an exclusively growth focused strategy to one that really tries to balance growth with efficiency. And so one way to achieve that, of course, is to identify all those administrative or repetitive tasks that are just really easy candidates for automation and hopefully free up your employees to focus on higher value adding activities. One specific example within our customer community might be a sales team that is seeing longer cycle times to deal closure. So if a small business can find a way to shrink even a day or two off of those sales cycles, it can make such a huge difference for their bottom line. Another challenge I'd point to for customer facing teams, and this is probably something we all need to be very self-aware about, is that we've all become increasingly less tolerant of experiences that don't feel personalized or feel like an inefficient use of our time. And for an SMB, when you're competing with much larger, potentially better funded companies, a competitive advantage that you can have is to form really deep and meaningful connections with your customers. And of course, then the challenge becomes, how do you do that? And if you can find ways to achieve or exceed customer expectations, build those deep relationships, but do it in an efficient way, your business is going to be successful. And so at Aircall, what we believe is that a big part of building those relationships is through voice connection, actually speaking with your customers. And what's been really interesting is the evolution of AI capabilities have actually really enhanced that experience. So it presents a really interesting ability to improve voice connection by leveraging some AI features. Recently, we wanted to go really deep into terms of understanding how SMBs and their employees really feel about AI and attitudes towards it. And so we recently released what we're calling our AI Index, which is essentially a broad survey that we conducted in March and April of this year in partnership with Sapio Research, and surveyed 3,500 SMBs and employees in Australia, Canada, France, Germany, the UK, and the US to better understand employee behavior and attitudes towards the potential of AI in the workplace. I would definitely recommend reviewing the report for anyone who has been thinking about this topic and is really interested in AI and how it fits in sort of the perspectives of SMBs. There's, as you would expect, a level of caution and concern. But what was really exciting for me is there's also a degree of positivity. One interesting metric was that 64% of US SMBs indicate that they're optimistic about AI. And when you look at a subset by age within the age range of 25 to 34, that's even higher. So I think what this tells us is that we're all coming around to the fact that AI is here to stay and it will be an important part of our work going forward. Now, the flip side of that is that there's an interesting difference between 59% of employees saying they have a good understanding of AI and how it can benefit their business versus 73% amongst executives. So there's a bit of a gap that we think you can really close via education, coaching, and trust building with your teams tied to any release or implementation of AI automation within your business.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah, a few things in there. So, I mean, one, definitely agree that, I think consumers are getting more and more okay with AI and things like that. And some of that has to do with what you were saying, as far as there's simply just rising customer expectations, and the small and medium businesses are competing sometimes on the same playing field as the very large organizations that also have AI, but also just have more resources to kind of throw at some of these problems. And so, AI certainly seems like it's a it's a suitable solution for some of that. So, in line with that, you mentioned the potential for AI to help. How do some of Aircall's AI features help to alleviate some of those pain points that you described?
Yeah, our platform, a lot of the data on it is comprised of calls and voicemails, and you think about just the wealth of insights that are present within all of that data, and so it can be everything from the reason that a contact was made with your business to how satisfied or not the caller was, and until recently, trying to just tap into those insights was an incredibly time consuming task. It typically takes about 4 hours of manual transcription to document just a 1 hour call. And we know
Yeah.
no customer facing team right now has that kind of time. So, we're really excited to have released the first of many AI features. And through our AI index, we recognize that we feel that the timing feels right, with 66% of US SMBs alone saying that they're planning to invest in AI over the next 12 months, which I thought was a really great
Yeah.
statistic supporting, the adoption of AI within the SMB space. So our first feature provides transcription capabilities in a number of languages. It will automatically take 1 minute of audio and process it in just a few seconds, synchronizing all of the data with the customer CRMs and their business tools, even providing a direct link to the recording and the transcription. And so once you have that data and it's in text form, then you have the ability to do things like, rapidly identify and share on an urgent basis something that came out of a call or voicemail. So for example, if a call didn't go very well and a customer was really dissatisfied, that enables you to act upon it very rapidly, much faster than you ever could have previously. Another great application of AI leveraging this capability would be creating a knowledge bank of resources. So you can generate real world scenarios to just really improve the onboarding for your teams and ensure that they're operating with the most current and most relevant insights in terms of dealing with customers and working with them each day. What's I think great is that this is just the beginning for our customer base. We have a lot of new capabilities coming in the months ahead. That said, I think anytime we talk about AI, though, we do need to recognize that while it's been around a really long time, it's really, in the last year or so, the capabilities and the technology has advanced so rapidly. In some respects, it feels like a new topic for a lot of people.
Right.
And our employees have a lot of concerns about that. In our survey, 47% of the US respondents literally indicated they feel AI could replace them. So we're all excited about our customers taking advantage of our new AI capabilities, and just even in the broader world of the AI capabilities advancing. It's also, I think, important to just keep in mind that there is a level of concern and worry about this. And so it just comes back around to what I mentioned previously, which is making sure that as you're implementing an AI strategy, you are educating your teams and properly managing the change. And that's really in large part just to ensure that they're adopted in a way that will help you achieve the business outcomes that you're striving towards.
Yeah, I want to get back to the comment about the fear of being replaced by machines. So we'll get to that in a minute. But before we do that, another thing you mentioned was these teams are, whether it's enterprise or it's small medium business, resources. There's hiring freezes. There's more people trying to do, or less people trying to do more work, and things like that. And so AI can really help in that. And you touched on that a little bit. So, what does alleviating some of those pain points, maybe making things easier? You mentioned the transcription. I mean, that's a great example there. What could these customer service teams, what can they focus on, or what does it free them up to do when they're not worried about some of the repetitive tasks or the minutia of the job?
It was really interesting. In our survey, we identified what I thought was an incredibly alarming metric, which is that the employees who responded indicate they spend about 21 hours per week on busy or administrative work and just 4 hours on meaningful customer interaction. So if you can successfully leverage AI or other efficiency tools, just imagine the productivity that can result even just by eliminating a few hours of those 21 and shifting those into the category of the meaningful customer interaction. I was absolutely astounded by that result. In terms of what you can do, so let's talk about the positive. I mean, the list is so long. A few examples I would point to would be, taking a look at past customer contacts and then allowing your agents or salespeople to be really targeted and personal in their conversations to make it feel like that customer. And on a related note, when you have a 360 view of them, of how they've interacted with your business, what they've purchased, what they've said, how they've even communicated with you, the tone and their sentiment, it really makes it easier to tailor an experience for that customer that feels unique to them. And they're not, every time they interact with your business, they're not starting all over again, which I think is so important as a customer. You can also reduce response times. We all know as consumers that what we really just want, if we have to interact, at times with any business, is that we want it to be handled efficiently and well, and to make it feel like our time is appreciated. And so by giving, our teams better access to insights and answers and eliminating manual steps, it really helps to reduce just the duration of whatever the contact is, whether you're trying to complete a support ticket or sell a product or service. Time matters to your direct customers. And then finally, I would say, leveraging history and data summaries, it really speeds up the cycle time to help a new employee be more effective and reach that level of competency that they're working really well with your customers. And so leveraging all the data that's now available, you can help them learn from literally best practice examples from their colleagues, how they've handled maybe difficult customers or really positive situations, how to replicate those. It essentially shortens the learning curve for your team members as they start at your company.
Before we continue, let's take a quick break. If you're like many marketing leaders today, you're inundated with a need to improve the customer experience across an increasing number of channels and touch points, all while ensuring your team is performing well, innovating, and continuously improving. So how do you find the time to determine what's next for you, your team, your brand, and your customers? My company, GK5A, can help. Whether it is advisory services, evaluation of marketing technology platforms and solutions, or digital agencies and implementation partners, or assistance with creating strategic roadmaps and prioritization of efforts, we've done it all and served as an ally to Fortune 1000 brands in industries like financial services, healthcare, consumer electronics, professional services, and more. You can learn more about these services and contact us at www.gk5a. That's www.gk5a.com. Now let's get back to the show. And so to circle back to this idea of machines replacing humans, and certainly, that's happened in the past. It will happen in the future. But, there's another component here too. I mean, we've certainly touched on the efficiency and, that kind of workflow automation standpoint, but there's also the employee experience component to this too. So, those that may be concerned about their job changing or their work changing, that statistic about 4 hours out of 25 being truly meaningful work. I mean, that's very compelling in and of itself. But isn't there a notion of really truly improving the employee experience because people are doing more meaningful work that they find more value in, and obviously the business benefits from that as well because there's less repetitive or less room for human error in some cases too. But can you talk a little bit about that employee experience component?
Yeah, absolutely. I hope that there's common agreement that there's a direct linkage between employee experience and customer experience. If your employees are engaged and really, bought into the vision and focused on providing a great customer experience and enjoying the work they do, you'll feel that in the customer experience for sure. And so if you can find ways to eliminate the tasks that none of us like, all the manual work, the repetitive stuff, that of course improves team productivity, which has a business benefit, but it allows, all of our team members to be much more knowledgeable and do work that they appreciate and makes them feel good in terms of interacting with their customers. And so if you can create a rewarding experience for your employees, you'll see that in terms of business benefit. Now, I think as it relates to AI, it's really, really important to educate and coach your teams, probably more important than it's ever been. Clarifying why you're using AI and what you hope it will achieve. Ensuring that your employees and team members are part of the process of testing and experimenting and sharing your vision and hopefully that vision includes improving the employee experience. That will drive employee retention, buy-in, and really smooth change management. If our team members feel like we're working with them, really not sort of forcing something that might be a little intimidating or scary into their day-to-day workflow.
Yeah, absolutely. And so then I think that's a great segue to you made a great point, and completely agree that there is definitely, and this has been proven, time and time again, a direct linkage between employee experience and customer experience. Can you talk a little bit about those benefits then from the customer view, the end customer view, and how does improving quality of understanding, because that's part of what we're talking about, how does that translate to the end customer experience?
We've all unfortunately probably had one of those experiences where you're interacting with maybe a call center or business, and you've been passed around from person to person. Each one of them is operating with literally no information or context about you, and it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
And then in other times, and unfortunately it feels a little rare, but you have an experience where a company operates like they know you. They're effectively sharing information. They're putting pieces together. And, when that happens to me, I know that I feel incredibly loyal towards that company because it feels like they're empathetic towards, whatever the reason is that I am trying to work with them. They're operating with care and that drives retention. Zendesk recently shared a statistic that a single bad customer experience can lead to 61% of customers switching and going to a competitor. And so I think this really underscores the strategic importance of knowing your customer, offering a rapid response and a great experience and a personalized process that will ensure that they're a loyal customer for a very long time. And from an Aircall perspective, we focus on voice and that being the most powerful channel to drive that personalization and connection. And if we can facilitate that kind of experience, then we believe our customers are going to achieve our goals. What I thought was really encouraging in our survey is that 72% of US employees actually believe that AI will improve customer service. And so the good news, I think, for all of us is that we have this foundation we can build on and have a lot of really cool, new, innovative ways to try to improve customer experience.
The reality is striking. While we can stream movies on demand and order anything to our doorstep within a click, healthcare interactions often feel needlessly complex. Healthcare marketers, this one's for you. In Shop, Stream, Heal, author Adeline Ashley shares actionable insights from industry leaders like Netflix, Amazon, and Delta, showing how healthcare can thoughtfully adapt their winning strategies. This isn't about technology for technology's sake. It's about making healthcare more accessible, intuitive, and human. Drawing from real-world successes and lessons learned, the book shows you how to create healthcare experiences that truly meet patient needs while preserving clinical excellence. Shop, Stream, Heal by Adeline Ashley features a foreword from Dave O'Flanagan, CEO of Sitecore. It's published by the Agile brand and now available in print and digital formats on Amazon. Go to shopstreamheal.com for more information.
Yeah. And so from a measurement standpoint and an ROI, how should your customers be looking at measuring ROI and investments in, adding some AI capabilities and things? Is it the same or similar metrics that they're already using, or are there other ways they should be looking at this?
There's probably good news in that. And I would say a lot of the current metrics should still be relevant. So if you're measuring customer satisfaction, net promoter score, churn, even things like ticket numbers, sales productivity, cross-selling, upselling, even just your sales cycles, all of those should still be relevant, before and after the use of AI. And if you start seeing increases or decreases in those, either good or bad, it's a clear signal to try and dive deeper and evaluate what's happening if you see changes in the trends. And And you either want to do more of that, or you know that there's something that you might need to tweak in whatever you've changed within the process. Equally, I would say we should all be looking at efficiency measures if we're not already. Every business is going to have a different set of target metrics that really relate to the efficiency of whatever they're trying to accomplish. But, a few examples might be, if you measure time spent on something like creating an email or response times within your call center, if you're doing any kind of time tracking or measurement of that, looking at the impact of AI is a really applicable way to see if you're heading in the right direction or not. So, everyone can go introduce a long list of new metrics, but I think a lot of the metrics that everyone's currently using should hopefully continue to serve them well. Now, I think the tougher part is that, it's trying to evaluate really the long-term strategic value of AI investments. And that's much harder to quantify. Things like scalability and, your business being able to adapt to market demands as they evolve, your potential for innovation. If anyone figures out how to precisely measure those, I would love to learn about it. But I think, as AI evolves in our capabilities, I think we'll get better at measuring ROI on that. But, I would say, look at the specific goals of your company, look at the efficiency measures, take into account, things like customer satisfaction and employee productivity. And you should be able to see if AI is helping your business.
Yeah. Yeah. You've mentioned some of the ways that Aircall is using AI, as well as the benefits of the human voice connection and everything like that. How should call centers and companies that do a lot of phone-based sales and service be looking at AI in general? How should they be finding the right balance between people and AI in these roles?
Yeah. I personally believe that voice and human interaction are such a key part of establishing a great relationship with customers. There's something so powerful about it. And so, the context of AI, you may think there is no relationship, but AI is a really cost-effective means to help you actually deepen those relationships in interesting ways. I think AI is here to stay. It's important to be open to the possibilities within your business. And how you go about thinking about it and setting a strategy will really help you find that balance between people and AI. I would recommend defining what your ideal customer experience is in your customer journey. And then just as a starting point, finding ways where AI can help you achieve that, your desired outcome from your customer journey. And then along the way, make sure that your teams are part of all the work you're doing. They're part of the planning and the value and the evaluation, and they understand the objectives of what everyone collectively is trying to achieve. And again, make sure that employee experience and improving it is one of those objectives. And that will go a long way, with I think finding that balance. Now, I think it's important to be realistic as well. We know, and we're seeing it already, that with AI, people's jobs are changing, and it's impossible even at this point to understand by how much. And so we do need to be really empathetic about that. I had mentioned earlier that we're seeing through our study that employees have fear about this. And so we should be, I think, thoughtful about that. There are, of course, some theories that AI will completely replace customer-facing teams. I've spent my career working with customers. I know I have some bias on this, but I would really like to see AI used as a supplement to facilitate more meaningful connection with customers rather than, an approach where there's just no more customer-facing team concept. And we've all seen the examples as well of AI can still make mistakes. And so, there's still a need to have human oversight involved just to make sure that the quality of your output, is in alignment with what your expectations would be. But one great thing, and you made reference to this earlier, that I think is so great is historically speaking, AI was really only accessible to large businesses with pretty expansive budgets. And now much smaller companies have access to these capabilities as well, because it's not so prohibitively expensive. And so, these are really great challenges for SMBs, is to think about an AI strategy in ways that will help them compete with capabilities that are on par with much larger businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Mary, thank you so much for joining the show. One last question before we wrap up here. You touched on this a little bit already, but just, curious overall, we've talked about quite a bit today, and, certainly AI is a thread throughout. How do you see AI transforming the call center, maybe even further ahead and, in the months and years ahead?
Yeah, things are moving so fast. I do worry what I say this week might actually change next week.
I won't hold you to it, but yeah.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. There's a big asterisk on this. I think we can say with certainty that AI is going to transform call centers for sure. I think one interesting point is that we sometimes think of call centers as these massive organizations with huge amounts of technology, but much smaller businesses also have some sort of call center requirements as well. And so, you know, AI can really help level the playing field for businesses of all sizes in terms of having access to productivity tools and cost reduction technology to really help improve their customer interactions as well. Within call centers, some things we're seeing already would be, analyzing on a real-time basis sentiment. So voice, tone, and words, enabling you to respond to that, understand it very, very quickly. And then potentially, using and leveraging what's been said to prescribe in an automated way a set of specific actions tied, uniquely to that customer interaction, whether they were very happy and satisfied, and maybe you want to follow up with a survey, or conversely, if it was a very tense call, then maybe it's time to have some sort of team member engagement to try to correct that situation. And, predictive analytics, of course, is helping us, arm contact center agents with offers or answers or recommendations to make that customer experience so much more personalized. I would say my best advice to anyone in the call center industry is stay informed, embrace AI, but in a thoughtful and considered way. Work with your external business partners who very likely have strategies on this front that can help you in ways that hopefully are a low lift for your team. And I've said this a couple times, but I think it's worth repeating. Just ensure that you're communicating with your team members and educating them. And then, as you're experimenting and using AI, gather feedback from your teams and even your customer community. And then, keep evaluating and iterating on that, and just make sure that your strategy is evolving.
Wonderful. Well, again, I'd like to thank Mary Nelson, Chief Customer Officer at Aircall, for joining the show. You can learn more about Mary and Aircall by following the links in the show notes. Thanks again for listening to the Agile Brand with Greg Kihlstrom podcast, brought to you by Tech Systems. If you enjoyed the show, please take a minute to subscribe on your podcast channel of choice and leave us a rating so that others can find the show more easily. You can access more episodes of the show at www.gregkihlstrom.com. That's GregKihlstrom.com. To get a copy of my latest book, House of the Customer, visit my website, or you can find it on Amazon or other retailers. The Agile Brand is produced by Missing Link, a Latina-owned, strategy-driven, creatively fueled production co-op. From ideation to creation, they craft human connections through intelligent, engaging, and informative content. Until next time, stay agile.